Hello, hi. Welcome to your favorite Makoti podcast, Makoti Unveiled. I'm your host, the resident Makoti, Siya Tsewu. Life has no formula. In fact, there's no way to tell that the decisions you make today won't go pear-shaped in the future. Now, one of the things that we pride ourselves on this show is that we have wonderful guests and we have thought-provoking conversations. And today is no different. Today, we're talking about the pros and cons of getting married young. Remember that old song, Remember that one? Remember? Yep, that's it. Today, we're talking about marrying young, the pros and cons of doing that. And so today, we're joined by wonderful guests who will take us through it. With me on this side is Noluvo Duna Paliso. She's a gospel star. She is a reality TV star, and she has been married for
13 years.
13 years. Imagine that. And then on my left, your right, we've got Luthando BU Mthembu. And so he got married when he was 23. So just to backtrack a little bit, Noluvo got married when she was 22. BU got married when he was 23. And then 5 years later, they didn't work out. And he got divorced. And now 3 years later, he's here with us to reflect on life after divorce. And on the far end, we've got Miss Zikhona Ngxata. Now, she is a businesswoman. She is the 2020 Mrs. South Africa First Princess. So we've got the cream of the crop. When I tell you that our guests are top tier, I'm not joking. Now, Zikhona also got married at 22, and 13 years later, unfortunately, she's in the process of getting a divorce. So we'll be talking about the pros and cons of getting married young to find out, is it a good idea and is it not? So, ladies and gents, who wants to take it away?
That's a tricky question.
Ladies first.
Ladies first.
Ladies first, definitely.
So thank you for joining us. Let's start with you, Zikhona. When you look back, take us through the decision to get married young. What was happening? Why?
Okay, greeting to the viewers. My reasons, I'm speaking to a different kind of community because I grew up from a church, so I was a church girl. So because of the church principles and all that, we're not supposed to date or have a boyfriend before you get married. So all the time, you know how curious you are as a teenager, you're looking forward to that day where you will meet a person that you're going to get married to, So I went to high school, no boyfriend. A boyfriend will come and approach you and all that. And then at the back of your mind, you're like, I'm a Christian, I'm a church girl, I'm not supposed to do this and all that. And then originally from the Eastern Cape, living in East London. And then I moved up to the City of Lights, Joburg. I went to UJ. Then UJ, the Temptations and all that. But still, I'm like, Zikhona, don't forget your roots, don't forget where you come from, your mom's teachings and all that. So even though I was in Joburg, I was looking for a church, So friends, I still remember this other time a friend of mine came, said, let's go to a club, So I'm like, okay, no problem. I'm going to tell my sister that I'm going for movies, And then I said, but please, when you do the pickup, pick me up first. So that if you pick me at 5, then it's okay, So they arrive at the house at 8. And then my sister is like, the last movie is actually done now by 8. So which movie are you guys watching? She's not going, So I was like, that was my opportunity to go to the club. And I was like, okay, it's fine. It's not my thing. I'm not going. So going back, fast forward, go back to East London, back to church, even though like it was a different church now, not the church that I grew up from. And then the guy proposed, at church. And I was like, okay. No, not this one. The other one came. And then I was like, okay, it's fine.
What is this?
Yeah. So until like this tall caramel looking guy came, and I was
child.
like, "Ish, I'm not sure whether I want to pray or just
Pray in
grab this one, pray in tongues or what, you know." So I had started my job. Everything for me happened very early, you know, according to the book, you know. I went to school, finished record time, went to varsity, came back, started a job at 21. At 18, 19, I was already in the process of getting my driver's license. 21, I get into a job, you know. And then after that, 22, boom, getting married. So I never dated the guy. I didn't know the guy's background. I didn't know the guy's education. I didn't know what the guy did for a living. All those. So
Okay,
for
did
me,
you know his name at least? Because I mean, what did you know?
I
Did
knew
you know his name?
I knew his surname, and I knew that he's a Christian and we go to the same church. So for me, those were the credentials. Those were the important credentials. I still remember meeting this guy, and he was an engineer. I was like, he's an engineer, but he doesn't go to church. You know, I'm like, he's not a Christian. How am I going to get him to come into this space? You know, I invited him, and then it was not his kind of vibe, you know. So for me, it was not falling. I didn't fall in love. You know, everything was like church-based, church-oriented values and all that, you know. So it was not a matter of I chose to get married young. I did not date. I did not have that experience. I've never, they say like, ujamba festile, you know, you grow out of the window,
house.
sneaking out of the house because you want to go and sleep over at a boyfriend's place. I never had that experience, you know. So my ex-husband was my first boyfriend type of thing, you know. So I don't know if I wanna let me leave it there, so that I don't get ahead of myself.
Okay,
Yeah.
no. Yay, we have a lot to unpack here.
Yeah.
We have a lot. BU,
Hey,
why, brother?
why what?
Why did you decide to get married at 23? Was there a baby on the way?
No child.
You know what was happening there?
Love.
Oh, so you fell in love?
We both fell in love.
No. Well, comparing to Zikhona, she wasn't in love when she
Oh,
decided to
yes.
get married.
I mean, same prefix
Okay.
in terms of religion, doing
Okay.
it a specific way, but it was love, and it's still love. Yeah,
Okay. All right. that
I'll
is
leave
short
it there.
and-
That answers your question, right?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Miss Thing.
For me, I would say love found me.
Okay.
When I met him, I was not looking for love. I was not looking for friendship. I mean, I just had my 21st birthday. Marriage was not part of my plan. And when I met him, we met at varsity and also come from a Christian background. So when we met, it was love. In fact, we became friends first. And I had a long list of the things I wanted in a man. I would say he must be tall and
Yes,
dark.
good.
You know, he must be light in complexion, all that. And when he came, he was a total opposite. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm saying that love found me because his personality, his sense of humor, I just fell in love with him. And everyone was like, why you guys want to get married now? You're still very young. I mean, why not? Like, the love was there. I was like, I mean, why not? You know, why should we wait? So, yeah, love found me.
I would like to speak to the ladies quickly, Biyuni. Just let's pretend you're not here.
Go for
Let's
it.
just, create a thing there.
Disappear.
But ladies, in marriage sometimes many people can say they find themselves losing themselves. It doesn't matter the age really, because you've now stepped into a new role. You were your own person. Maybe you had a career before, but now you're married. You're somebody's wife, and you're probably somebody's mother. And there's so many things that are required of you. Did you find that at any point that you lost yourself?
Okay, I'll go first. At some point, I did, and that was after my first child. So we got married, and we had a honeymoon baby. So I was in a space whereby I was still getting to know this guy.
Yes.
You know, getting to know his habits and all that, and we're still like getting to know each other. And then eventually there's a baby. So at some point, I was trying to juggle around being a mom, being a wife, having to take care of my career as well, make sure that I don't lose myself in the whole space. So it is possible, yes, it was after giving birth, and it was very emotionally draining, and you find that you crucify yourself, or you try to look at Is this how I wanted my life to be? Is this me now? I'm a mom. It's like your life has stopped altogether. So at some point, yes, it does, but it helps to have a supporting partner, because my husband was very supportive in all that journey. And eventually I snapped out of it.
Okay.
But I know that experience of feeling that I feel that everything has just
It's become about the other people
Exactly.
and not about you, Nolu.
Yes, it happens.
Okay. And you, Zikhona, did you ever experience that?
Yeah, same phase. Once you have a child, life does not revolve around you anymore, you understand? But I would say with me it was a little bit different, because I would lose myself and find myself and lose myself and find myself, you know, because as you know, the background, the modeling, the beauty and all that. I got married, had a honeymoon baby.
Okay, so we all did this. I got married in March. In December, I popped out a baby.
Yeah, you know. So I got married, had a honeymoon baby. Of course, you know, the excitement now. Oh, is this is the real world now? This is where things are done. You know, so I had my first child, I think, when she was 3 or 4. Then I was like, I've always been an ambitious person. I've always wanted to do things for the community. So my life was, okay, now I'm married. Now I've started a family. I've got the first child. But now, who is Zikhona after all of this? Yes. I need to snap out of this very quick, you know. And then I launched my first project, which was Miss Eastern Cape Beauty with a Purpose, you know. And then I started that project, you know. So that's why I'm saying I would lose myself in a moment of having kids, being a Makoti and all that, and then I'll go look for myself quickly, and then I find myself again, you know. So I launched Miss Eastern Cape, and then now this is my baby. I'm excited about it, you know. Yeah.
Okay.
Siya, I got a question for you.
Yes.
Why wouldn't that question be applicable to male?
No, it's not that it's not applicable to men. It's. I think the reason I asked them is that because women tend to be the ones that submit to the husband, and everything is about the husband and you, Makoti, serving the family. The expectation, or rather the usual thing that happens is that in all of that serving the husband, serving the new in-laws, serving the new baby, now finding yourself, now you need to remind yourself, but now who is Siya outside of being Makoti, outside of being somebody's wife, outside of being somebody's Makoti, there by the in-laws and you know, with
and
the kids.
also to add on that point too as well, there is that toil of 9 months. Where now losing yourself is so evident that even your shape, your face, your neck is black, you're carrying this big tummy. Yeah, you look yourself in the mirror, then you're like, who's this? Is this me?
I don't know you.
So even though you have got your partner like, babe, you look cute and all that, but you look yourself in the mirror and then you're like, I don't look cute. I don't fit in my clothes. I've got swollen feet, you know. So over and above all the serving and all that, now there's a transition that's happening in your body. Then you're like, okay, now this thing now is becoming real, you know. And during that time, no matter how much you have outside people to support you, that journey is your own.
It's your own.
It's like the
journey.
pain, the toil, the emotions, you know. You give birth and then there's postnatal depression, which is something that in our community, like which is the black community, it's something that was not spoken of.
Yeah.
And then when you start learning of postnatal depression, you're like, oh, that's
what it was.
That's what was happening.
You know,
Yeah.
you give birth, you look at this child, you're like, this is my baby, you know. And then your husband is out, maybe he's at work or whatever, you know. And then you're like, I'm alone, I'm stuck with this child, you know. So you feel stuck. You feel like your life has come to a standstill. So that's why I'm like, even though you might have lost yourself in some way. But when it comes to us, there's a little bit of an extreme when it comes to your body change, your life changes in so many ways. You understand?
All right, I get it.
And maybe it happens to them as well. Because I remember when I was pregnant, my husband had some of the things, like he had nausea. I'm like, hi, Bo, what's wrong with you? So maybe it's not that different.
My husband
that transition
did the same.
maybe is not different as well.
Because I would sleep with a big belly like this. Oh, Lord Jesus, I would sleep And this man would sit up all night watching me sleep. And I'm like, and then he's like, I've got insomnia. And that's a usual pregnancy symptom. And so maybe, let's hear from you, brother.
Yeah,
Tell us.
maybe.
Abuti.
Well, I think I'm excluded from this discussion not because I'm a male, but because I don't have a child. So I can tell you what I've seen, but it won't be from
But
my...
was there any change maybe in your life that you noticed this is not actually be you? This is not how I usually do things.
where I might have lost myself. Yeah, so the way I see it is, when you said toil, I like that choice of word. You immerse yourself in the work because you want to provide now. That's your role as a provider, and you can lose yourself in that. You work extra hard, all those type of things. So your psyche changes. A lot of things change, even in your persona.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, aren't we glad Abuti BU is here? Aren't we glad?
Makes so much sense.
That's so... Ne?
It makes so much sense.
Because now you have a new role. Whether you squander your money is not just about you now.
Yeah.
All right. Sure. Okay. Thank you, Makoti Podcast. Thank you, Makoti Unveiled. Now, would you ever get married again?
Me. I've been wrestling with that question for a long time because my knee-jerk reaction is yes, because I still believe in love. However, would it be under the same prefix? Would I maybe take longer to know the person, learn myself through the person? Because you're different when you're in a room with your family. You're different when you're in a room with your friends. You're different when you're alone, but you just met the stranger. So you're definitely going to be a different person. So you have to learn who that new person is and who they're becoming, So I'd definitely, I think I'd say yes, but different.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Zikhona, you touched on it earlier, how people change in marriage. On our wedding day, I didn't speak because I cry. So my friends call me Lillian. I will cry. me, I will cry. Oh, I will cry. So I didn't speak on our wedding day because I knew I was going to bawl my lungs out. So I didn't speak. So I just stood there pretty next to him while he spoke. And one of the things he said was that he's met Siya, the girlfriend. He was excited to meet Siya, the wife, and Siya, the mother, because he realized all these three things or three people were different. I didn't quite get it on the day. I promise you, I'm not going to lie. I heard it, but I didn't internalize it, and it didn't make as much sense. But I want to hear from you ladies, and gent rather, how did you change from the switch of being unmarried and married? Were there any changes in who you became, how you did things?
On my side, so from my background, I'm the last born at home. So I got married to a firstborn. So that meant responsibility. So at home, I'm that person who would be like, you know how last borns behave. You don't even know how did it get here, but it's here. I'm having it. So now I had to transition from being that spoiled brat to a very responsible person, because now it means the kids are on me. You know? Exactly. So the decisions, they run through him, and I'm like, hey, but what is this? You're asking me, like, but okay, we're gonna have a funeral, so what should we do? Like, asking me. So I had to grow very fast. I had to transition from the childish ways and learn very fast. I had to be very wise. I think also one of the things that helped me in my journey was to have older women who were supporting me, because they felt that you're very young, you don't know about marriage, this is how you do things. At some point I was like, my marriage is different, it can never be the same as yours, but based on how they cushioned me, like looking back now, the things that they taught me, the things that I know now, they helped me to be able to transition from that mindset, from being a last born to a responsible Makoti, if I put it that way.
Yeah.
So I had to learn and unlearn.
Okay.
It's still a journey. It's always a journey.
And then, Zikhona, do you still believe in love?
Yes, I do. I believe in love, and I also feel like I was not loved right,
In the marriage.
In the marriage, and maybe I also didn't love right, which I feel like it's a con. There's a pros, and as we're discussing the pros and cons of being married and all that. So I believe in love, and I believe in the marriage institution. And one thing I've psyched myself over and over again is, Zikhona, because you're going through what you're going through, guard your heart from becoming bitter. Because now when you start bashing and like, I don't ever want to see men, or I don't want to ever see this institution, that means that there's something wrong with you that you have not dealt with. So going out, I had to reflect and say, Zikhona, what were your mistakes? What were your wrong choices? So now I don't even put my bad choices on him. If I say that I took that decision based on religious credentials, of which a human being is a spirit, a soul, and a body. So I can't take a huge life decision only based on one aspect of my being, which is the spiritual aspect, you understand? So there is also the soul, there's the body, you understand? When I looked into the psychology of marriage, they say marriage, there must be like security in terms of provision, you understand, in terms of shelter, in terms of mobility, and then there must be like financial support, and then there must be emotional and intimacy and all that, you understand. So now I did not look at those important credentials. I just based my marriage on one aspect of life. So now I'd love to do it again, you understand, but like what he said, that like different, you understand. So I still believe in love.
Would you guys, and I'm throwing this to all of you guys on the floor, but would you guys get married, or rather would you advise other 22-year-olds and 23-year-olds, as you were at the time, to get married?
Can I can I answer first?
Yeah.
The reason why I want to answer first is because I think it's quite a wild response that I'm gonna give. Yes and no.
Okay.
The reason why I say yes and no is because to each their own.
Okay.
There's a lot of gems in the confines of marriage that you can learn if you're willing to learn. I don't think you can learn them elsewhere. Those are separate. They're not exclusive. Love. You can love and not be married. You can be married and not love. So I feel for me, there's literally no regrets in terms of what I've been through. And if I could go through it again, I definitely would, because then I wouldn't be the man that I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This guy's always so deep. It's like he's been preparing for this his whole life and he's ready to answer.
I would say yes and no. Because like the things that I've learned about myself in marriage, I wouldn't have known they existed in me. And I would say also amaxesha yatshintsha. When I got married then, we didn't look at many, like today, like Zikhona said, that you have to look at security. Then based on my upbringing, you had to look for someone who has a potential. So you'd say, okay, this guy's a potential, okay, we can build together.
Okay.
But now things are different. No one wants to build.
Not Bob the Builder.
Not everyone, exactly.
No,
exactly. So
potential is not going to pay the bills.
Exactly. So it's different strokes for different people. I mean, I would say you can go for it if really it's inevitable. Like Filushba, this is really umtuam. But yeah, you can wait at the same time. You don't have to rush things. But if you Filushba like umtuam, then go for it.
We spoke off camera about the issue of getting married young, and I mean, I got married 27, turning 28. I really want you guys to touch on that, because I want to hear your thoughts about that age and comparing it to the age that you guys were when you guys got married.
Yeah, for me, I would say I wouldn't, like they said, like each to their own and all that. So personally, I wouldn't do it at that age.
Okay.
I would get married again, but I wouldn't do it at that age.
Okay.
You understand? Because as women in stature, we mature quicker, but mentally we don't, because women evolve. In fact, everyone evolves, you understand? So now when you meet, my husband was 7 years older than me. I was 22, and then he was 29. So he was in a different frame of mind, having gone through stages. So there's a reason why there is like childhood development. there's adolescence, there's teenage stage, there's adulting, and there are things that you do in each and every stage, So they would say naughty 20s, dirty 30s, what 40s. It's because you have to go through all those phases, you understand? So now I'm like, I remember posting and saying, hey guys, please don't judge me when you see me dancing in a club on top of the table, because I never did it, It's a stage in my life that I had skipped, you understand? Not that now I want to change a lifestyle, you understand? But you're sitting and you're like, there is actually this stage that I never experienced A, B, C, D, you understand? So now the con also is that you can never skip a stage. It was not my choice. Exactly. It's a natural thing. We were born and then there were stages, you understand? It was created, the universe allows it, so God allowed it. So if I think I can cheat that stage, then that stage is catching up with me now. You understand? I want to stay up late. I want to try wine. I want to try champagne. I want to try this. I want to try that. And then there was
you didn't do it when you were 18.
You understand? Because I didn't do it when I was 18. You understand? So for me, my advice is that when you feel like you have done it all, because I'm going to get married to someone and then you don't have an opportunity to do those things. Every time I would say, I want to do this, I want to pick myself, as I said, I would lose myself and pick myself up again. Every time I pick myself up again, it had to be arguments, serious talks. You better choose between your family or Miss Eastern Cape, you better choose between Mrs. South Africa and your family and all that. And I'm like, what is this, So I gone through all those phases and I'm like, okay, now this is the institution of marriage. This is what is expected, you understand? And also, most of the time, marriage is a beautiful institution. But most of our behavior is not from an individual perspective. It's from a society context. What does society deem correct as far as marriage is concerned? But now if I'm married and my partner is like, no babe, it's Friday, let's go in a club or whatever, we're young and all that, then that's good, you understand? But now if now we're going to say society says a woman your age is not supposed to do this, you understand? A daughter must, a woman must, you understand? What if now we don't want to master your way of mastering?
We want to master our own way.
We want to master our own way, you understand? So that's my take. I don't regret going through what I went through, but I believe that I went through what I went through so that I can be a testimony. I can give teaching to other young women out there that, you know what, don't rush. If you are meant to get married, you are going to get married. You understand? Because also the statistic of divorce and the nastiness that goes through a divorce. Some people are cordial about it, you understand? But some people are very nasty and emotional. And so I went through the most horrific divorce phase, you understand? And I'm thinking, this is so unnecessary, you understand? Then love becomes hate. That's where people become bitter and then, you know what, and start bashing marriage and all that, you understand? So go through the right stages, you understand? Look out for the person's background, do your homework thoroughly, you understand? Because if there's something called generational curses, you understand? So if you did not do a background check, you might find out that in his family, it's a family that has an unfortunate situation of divorce. And then you're like, divorce always happens in this family, you know? So, yeah, I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Can I just add? As you're speaking, I was thinking about, first of all, I thought of Michael Jackson, how he didn't have a childhood. And when he grew up, the first thing that he created was... for children, because he didn't get to experience that. And then I kind of played devil's advocate in my mind when she was speaking and thinking, if you can get someone that's willing to learn with you, experiment with you, then you have the formula. Because you guys already understand that you'll get it wrong a couple times. You got to be patient with each other to learn yourself. How are you in your 20s? How are you with that person? How are they? You know, and also expectations from society. So yeah, I like what you said.
Do you guys think age difference plays a role in the marriage?
Yes.
Can you explain? In fact, can you tell me the age differences in your marriages and how you think that plays a role? That's it.
Well, we have my husband is 6 years older than me. And yes, age does play a role. Because some of the things he has experienced, some I'm still to experience them. So it does play a role. But as he said, that if you're willing to do things together, and I think that's what has helped our marriage. We do things together, literally. Like we're friends. If we want to go party, we party together. If we want to go to church, we go to church together. So if you find that person who's willing to go through those phases with you, like as I have experienced, as I got married young, I transitioned with him in all those stages. So I remember at some point when we went out, we had someone, it was my first time to see him, having a bit of fun. I was laughing at him. Like it's those great experiences that I never thought, I would experience such a great transition of myself with a person that I love. So yes, age does make a difference, but it depends how you grow together in marriage.
Okay.
Do you mind if I rephrase your question a bit?
Okay.
I think everything matters.
Okay.
Your traumas are the most crucial thing that I've experienced, because most people run away from their traumas. But when it comes to age, I'd rephrase it and say, does maturity matter?
Okay.
Because maturity comes with responsibility. If you were the only boy in a household where there was no father, you become the father of that household. So when you do get married again, that lady when she gets married to that guy will be marrying a father, or a person who's been a father before there's even a child involved. So I think maturity is within experience. So like she said, when she said background check, I don't think you need to necessarily go behind the person's back and
not
Google
FBI
it.
stuff.
Yeah.
No, you can just speak to the person, meet the person. I feel like that's one up. Yeah.
Okay. And you say, ma'am, 7 years.
So,
You say 7 years was the age difference.
Yeah, 7 years was the age difference. It's always been an issue for us because whatever I would say, I'm older than you.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
This guy. Dindala, mamela.
Yes, there's a reason why there's this age difference.
Yeah.
Okay. And so guys, that's why I'm like, guys, I had a different experience altogether, and I'm not here to run anyone down, but the age factor also came into play, and also the fact that I did not date, it would come in from a negative perspective that you see, and I'm like, is that a good thing or a bad thing? You understand? Because this should be a plus, you understand? But so it's that age gap. But if someone, like what Noluvo said, that if someone can take you into their space and be like, okay, babes, when I was your age, this is what was happening, you understand? Let's do these things together, you understand? I still remember this. Oh, guys, I can talk. My goodness. So I remember before, I think 6 months before I left the house, I said, babe, I've done everything according to the book, I'm like the things I've listed. To add on those, so I'm like, we have 3 children, you understand. I've given birth to these beautiful daughters. We have got a house. We have got the cars. We have got everything that a young family aspires to have. Ne? To top it off, and then I'll also do community projects with your Miss Eastern Cape. There's Beauty with a Purpose Academy. There's all these things that we're doing. I'm like, okay, I feel like I've done all the things that society expects me to do, but I still feel like I have not lived, So I said, I tick all these boxes, but now I want to have fun, I'm not going anywhere. There's the children, there's the house, there's the cars, there's the work, there's the business. But now, what does Zikhona want over and above these things? You understand? The kids are in a good school, so now I want to have fun. Let's have Fridays together, where we go in East London. There's what's that place? Oh, I can't say places names, but it's sort of like a club set up, It's like, let's dress nice and go
Take
have
the
fun.
kids to go.
And he said, and there were witnesses in the room. He said, no cooking ways. Are you telling me that at your age you want to dance on top
At
of
your
a
age?
table? And I was like,
Yo.
oh my goodness. So I've tried.
I get you. I get you so well.
So it's the age. It's just so many elements that were my blind spots. You understand? So that's why I'm like, I'm not blaming anyone from that experience, but I feel like someone can learn one or two
Yeah.
things from this experience.
Can I also just add, when I was 22, I think, 21, 22, end of 21, 22, is when I popped the question. Now everyone was asking me, are you joking? Like a guy like you want to get married young, there's no child, there's no, why?
Pressure.
Why? You know, and a lot of my friends who weren't from the country, from South Africa, were like, that's weird, because they get married. In different societies, we have different norms. Their norms is like late 30s, 40s. But apparently, in South Africa, it's quite a norm for the young people to get married. And I think maybe that might play a role to contributing to the stats.
To the stats, yeah.
Yeah. Because if you have two inexperienced people who don't even have the patience for each other,
Sometimes not even for themselves. You're not even patient
Starts
with
there.
yourself.
Starts there.
With the transitions you have as a person.
yeah.
Shoo.
It's a lot.
Next,
Yeah.
guys,
A lot.
sip water, please. Like, have some water, something, please. Siya Market.
Thank you.
I'm loving how you guys are so honest about these things because they're personal and they're private. And they are they can be difficult to experience and to speak about. And also for you guys, I can imagine you don't want to sound bitter or anti-marriage because you've already come out of a marriage. You're in the process of getting out of a marriage. And when are you still happily married? But you don't be like, I did it right. Nina niyenze wrong. Or you don't want to be that person either.
Yeah.
But can you just, as we wrap it up, can you please just talk about how you then live with the consequences of your actions or your decisions? You know, someone will tell you that in a relationship or in umjolo, you mustn't regret spending that 10K on that Man United shirt for the boy, because at the time you liked it.
It was worth it
At the time it was worth it. You wanted to make Umjoko happy. But now that relationship is gone, or he's no longer a Man United fan, now there's a 10K shirt. You know what I mean? So how do you then, and I know I'm making a frivolous example here, but with the decisions that you've made that have now put you where you are today, turned you into the man that you are and the women that you are, how do you then live with those consequences of those actions and decisions?
Based in marriage. Or based in what you're talking about.
So within the marriage, actually you decided to get married.
Yeah.
And now, for whatever reason, you are here. Whether good or bad.
Yeah.
You've learned things in your marriage. You've had to unlearn things. Hey, guys. So when so I'm a pastor's kid, ne? So there are times when the mamas will go to a women's conference. And if my mom goes to that conference, she lays clothes out for my dad. You'll wear this on Friday, you'll wear this on Saturday, you'll wear this on Sunday, because she's not going to be there. Because generally, every Sunday before church, she takes out an outfit to give to this brother, to wear. This grown man. This grown man must be given an outfit. So me, got married, and I'm thinking, I'm going to take out clothes for my man. I took it out once. I think I did it the second time. The third time is like, what is
Why
this
am I
now?
doing
Wenzani? No, it was me.
him.
He was like,
Why are you dressing me?
Wenzani, why are you dressing me? He's like, and I'm like,
I'm being your wife.
I think your wife. That's what wives do. And it's exactly what Zikhona was saying about what society expects wives and husbands to do in a marriage. So because I had grown up in that home, I thought the expectation for me as a wife is to dress this man, because my dad doesn't know that shirt goes with that tie and that suit. And my husband is like, I'm in my 30s. I know exactly which pants go with which shirt. So please. and I'm like, no, here are these jeans. He's like, I don't want to wear those jeans. And I remember having this conversation with him. I said, here are the jeans. He goes, no, I want to wear these jeans. I'm like, but jeans are jeans are jeans. So what is different? You know, this one fits differently to this one. And I don't want this shape. I don't want this fit. And I'm like, this guy. So I had to then unlearn that. So now I was like, do you, brother? You know, so it's those kind of things. What you know?
Before Noluvo comes in on that issue, I still remember going to church because like my ex was like that, you know. No, you're not gonna wear this with that. Wear this with that, you know. I still remember one Sunday morning, I got to church and I'm like, I don't like how I look because I had worn this outfit, and now you know, was you're worshiping, and I'm crying because my heart is so American, and then think that
you just don't like this blouse, babe. It's the blouse.
So it's so like it's hilarious, because like you get married. This is a whole adult. This is not your child. You understand? Yeah.
I think you know what? What helped me is that when I got married, because of the age difference, I got into that thing. Yoba, he's not going to bully me. Like I was like, I have defense because I got married to someone who's older than me. So I was always defending myself. If maybe he says, "Can you please pass me that glass?" Like I'll be like, "Oh, yeah, Ntumango." You know? Like I was always defensive, and he had to calm me down and say, "Listen, we're gonna do this together," you know. And people, they had that perception of, he's older than you, he's gonna bully you, and he's a man of God, you know. You know how men of God can be, you know. He's gonna send you around, you know, and do errands. So I was always wearing this thing, and for a very long time I realized that, you know what, I'm shooting myself on the foot. So from like I had to transition again and learn
to take it easy.
To take it easy, how to love, because this man is different from your mom's marriage was different, and he liked it that way. He liked it. That was his love language. So this is a different man. He has a different kind of a love language altogether. And now you'll be giving him something that he doesn't appreciate because that's not his love language. So it's a lot.
Topic about
It's a
love
lot.
languages. I wanted this one. Someone
It's
says
really a lot.
if somebody you must love a person and apologize to them in their love language. So if I do you wrong, I can't then bake you a cake to say sorry. If acts of service mean nothing to you, when you need the words to come out of my mouth to say, you know, look, I'm sorry, and so you can take that cake and shove it somewhere.
And then also it changes as the time goes by, because like I'm no longer a woman that he married years ago. Like maybe then the gifts and all that used to be my love language, but now I'm like, hi bo, I want quality time. Like, where are you? I can't find you. And then he'll be like, hi bo, I thought you love flowers. Yes, I do, but I also want this part.
You must bring the flowers and sit next to me with the flowers. Okay.
So yeah, change, but yeah, it's a lot.
Consequences living with them, but
I think I like what you said earlier about your parents and seeing them and then bringing that to your life. Because at a fundamental or basic stage of life, as when we're kids, we copy and paste. We really don't know what adults are. We're not adults. We just copied the previous adults. You get what I'm saying? So same thing applies in your marriage and just your communication skills and life in general. We copy paste. We do everything. We just, okay, that's what's being done. Let me do it. I think we get to a point where communication becomes vital, becomes quite crucial. You know, when your person can express, this is what I like, this is what I need. And you get to learn that. Like she said, she changed. Her love language was different. Something else now. You can't do it like you did it yesterday. It's different today. So yeah, that's my take.
guys. Kusathetha kuse apha. Khayivale mem. Khayivale.
Consequences, I say it begins with you accepting and realizing your part. Take your part, you know, because what we live, I'm sorry that I'm going to share, like, it's a sad reality of our society. We're dealing with femicides, we're dealing with suicide, you understand? It's because people can't accept that this is the status quo,
Yeah.
you know? So it starts with me accepting that these were my choices. No one held me by the gun for me to go through what I'm going through. I made this choice. So every choice has got a consequence. Now I have to live with this consequence, do my introspection and say, okay, Zikhona, even though there was this situation, what was your part? So now, first of all, apologize to Zikhona about this decision. I say, I'm sorry, Zikhona, for making this decision. Now, how do we move forward? Ne?
Yeah.
You'll ask yourself, because when there's blame game and shifting and he
Victim.
was bagged and then victim, you know, so people like to be victims, you know, so now you must be nursed, people must feel sorry for you. I don't want nobody feeling sorry for me. I made that decision.
Yeah.
I must live with the consequences. I must psych Zikhona that Zikhona, this is the journey that even if I had magic, I can't undo what had happened, but I can only learn from what had happened and do better.
Yeah.
ngesixhosa sithi uyitye yonke. She ate all of it. She ate it all. That's all we have time for today. What an episode. Ladies and gents, thank you. Ndiyabulela, thank you so much for coming, and thank you so much for sharing so much of yourselves with us and the viewers. Thank you so much for being honest, you know, and it's not easy. I can't imagine it to be easy to be opening such parts of yourself to random strangers in South Africans. But here we are and we're doing it. So thank you so much for coming through and sharing such important aspects of your lives. And thank you to you for joining us. It's amazing to have you again. So thank you very much. A very special thank you to you. And so catch us for the next episode right here on SNL 24. And until next time, bye-bye, Thandwa.